Lena lived in a small, cozy house on the outskirts of a tiny town nestled deep in the countryside. It was the perfect day for 14-year-old Lena to be skipping around the living room, humming a happy tune as she cleaned. Her father worked as a carpenter, crafting beautiful furniture from reclaimed wood, and Lena, with her long flowing hair and kind eyes, was the heart and soul of their little family. But that all changed on her 14th birthday. Symbols began showing up everywhere. At first, they appeared only in her dreams, strange geometric patterns that shifted and flowed like water, etched into her books, scrunched into the corners of her mirror, even carved into the bark of the old oak tree that stood sentinel outside her window. At first, she thought nothing of it, but as the days passed, the symbols grew bolder, more frequent, until they became impossible to ignore. It had always been there, concealed by years of dust and neglect. Suddenly, her foot struck something solid. Kneeling down, she brushed away the dirt to reveal a wooden chest bound with rusted iron. In the flickering light of her flashlight, she uncovered more photographs, each one a silent scream frozen in time. She learned about an ancient gateway hidden beneath the house, a gateway that had the power to connect our world with another realm, a realm of darkness. According to the journal, the gateway was sealed over 100 years ago by her great-great-grandparents, wardens of the gate, whose duty it was to ensure that the darkness remained imprisoned. The animals in the forest seemed agitated, their panicked cries echoing her own unease. Even the townspeople seemed to sense the growing darkness, their whispers painting her as the cursed girl. The basement door creaked open on its own, beckoning her inside. The musty air pressed against her like a shroud, carrying the scent of decay and despair. And then she saw it, or rather, she felt it. A cold, dark presence coiled in the center of the room, whispering promises of power and oblivion. The gateway was stirring, reaching out with unseen fingers to claim her as its own. Fear hung heavy in the air, stifling the joy that once filled her days. The town slowly came back to life, the whispers fading into memory. The animals in the forest became curious, no longer afraid. And Lena, though forever marked by her ordeal, found a strange solace in her solitude. Close the gate and condemn herself to a life of fear and solitude, or open the gate and risk unleashing the darkness upon the world. Etched into the trunk of the old oak tree was a new marking, the same symbol that blazed on her bedroom wall, a symbol of protection, of hope. It was a reminder that she didn't just survive the story, she changed it. She was no longer the cursed girl. She was Lena, the gatekeeper, and she held the rules. The darkness surged within her, not consuming her, but flowing through her. She wove the symbols into a new pattern, a binding, a seal. The air crackled with energy as the gateway recoiled, its darkness gathering like a storm cloud. But Lena stood firm, her determination hardening her gaze. This was her moment, her chance to rewrite the fate that had been written for her. The symbols that had tormented her now pulsed with a new energy, guiding her, protecting her. The whispers in her ear became words, words of power, words of control. The gate was opening, not to let the darkness out, but to draw it in. Her hands trembled as she reached out to touch the symbols, her heart pounding against her ribs like a trapped bird. She closed her eyes, bracing for the inevitable. The symbols blazed, then faded, leaving behind a new sigil, a symbol of protection, of hope. The basement door creaked open, bathing her in the soft light of dawn. There were pictures of her parents as young adults, their smiles bright, their eyes full of hope. The threat had passed, but the responsibility remained. She was still the chosen guardian, but now she held the rules. The symbols were hers to wield, the gate hers to protect. And then there were pictures of her, her features soft and cherubic, her gaze innocent and trusting. Each photograph was a tangible link to the past, a reminder of the family she had lost. The tree, which had stood sentinel over her life, now loomed like a menacing giant, and as she gazed up at its gnarled branches, she saw it. A new marking had appeared, the same symbols that haunted her dreams and whispered in her ear. But now they were bolder, more urgent. Panic threatened to consume her, but then her gaze fell on the journal lying on top of the chest. Its pages, brittle with age, whispered tales of a time long past. Her family had been chosen as guardians of the gate for generations, a burden passed down from one generation to the next. And now it was her turn. With each passing day, the symbols burned into her mind, seeping into her dreams, twisting them into visions of swirling darkness and whispering voices. The whispers followed her everywhere, slithering into her ear, hissing, "She returns. She returns. When the moon forgets its name." It spoke of a family who lived in this very house over a century ago, a family that had mysteriously vanished without a trace. And then Lena's breath hitched. She recognized her family's name scrawled in elegant, looping script. Could her family's disappearance be linked to this hidden basement? What secrets did this house hold? And what were those strange symbols trying to tell her? It was heavy, impossibly so, and seemed to pulse with an energy that both frightened and intrigued her. As she wrestled it open, a gust of wind slammed the trap-door shut above her, plunging her into total darkness. Curiosity gnawed at her, propelling her to pull up the rug and pry open the trapdoor. A musty smell wafted up, mingling with the scent of damp earth, and something Lena couldn't quite place, something ancient and inexplicably familiar. With a mix of trepidation and excitement, she descended the creaking steps into the darkness. It was during one of these unsettling afternoons that Lena stumbled upon the trapdoor hidden beneath the worn rug in her bedroom. The basement was a labyrinth of shadows and silence. Cobwebs brushed against her cheeks, and the air grew colder as she ventured deeper. Her heart pounded against her ribs like a trapped bird. As days turned into weeks, Lena found herself drawn back to the basement again and again. The journal became her obsession. Its yellowed pages unfolded like a map leading her deeper into the mystery. But as Lena delved deeper into the journal, she uncovered a horrifying truth. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched, stalked by unseen eyes that followed her every move. One evening, as the sky bled into twilight, Lena found herself drawn to the oak tree outside her window. That night, as the full moon hung heavy in the sky, Lena's world shattered. She had a choice, one that would decide the fate of two worlds. Then everything changed, and as the lunar eclipse reached its peak, Lena acted. With a final surge of power, she banished the darkness back to the ether from which it had come, trapping it forever. As she stepped out into the morning sun, she knew things would never be the same. Days turned into weeks, then months, and a new rhythm settled over Lena's life. One morning, as she skipped through the fields behind her house, kicking up the daisies, she noticed something new.